Chaos is where fortunes are forged. Right now the crypto markets are a tempest. Bitcoin's price lurches like a wild animal, soaring 1 hour, crashing the next, and the news is a non-stop drumbeat of fear and doubt. Volatility is the air we're breathing, and the average person is choking on it. They're terrified, frozen, or fleeing. That's perfect. That's your moment. When the herd scatters, when panic grips the masses, that's when the sharpest minds step forward. Bitcoin isn't a passing trend, a geek's toy, or a gambler's bubble. It's a tectonic shift, a middle finger to a financial system bloated with debt, empty promises, and centralized control. You're at a fork in the road. Ride this wave to wealth, or watch it drown the timid. The smart money doesn't hesitate. Let's dig into volatility first. The word alone sends shivers down most spines. Risk, danger, loss. Oh my. They see Bitcoin plummet 20% in a day and their knees buckle. They sell low, lock in their losses, and cry about it later because they can't stomach the ride. That's their failure, not yours. Volatility isn't a monster, it's a gift. Picture it. When the price drops, it's not a collapse, it's a clearance rack. Bitcoin's earned its nickname digital gold for a reason. Like gold, it's finite. 21 million coins, no more ever. Like gold, it's tough. Locked in a blockchain no bureaucrat can seize or manipulate. But unlike gold, it's nimble, weightless, global, coded for the future. The market's trembling. That's your green light. While the herd unloads their stash in a frenzy, you swoop in calm and deliberate. Price swings aren't chaos to you. They're opportunities to buy cheap, hold steady, and cash in when the tide turns. Zoom in on that clearance rack for a second. Imagine Bitcoin at $50,000 today, then it nosedives to $40,000 tomorrow. The headlines scream, crash, pundits wail, and social media lights up with memes of sinking ships. The herd sees ruin, you see a sale. That 20% drop isn't a death knell, it's a discount. You scoop up 0.25 BTC for $10,000 instead of the $12,500 it cost yesterday. Now, fast forward a year or 5. Bitcoin's clawed back to $80,000, hardly a stretch given its history. Your $10,000 is now $20,000. The herd's still licking its wounds, posting sob stories about the crash of 25 while you're counting profits. Volatility isn't random, it's a rhythm, and you've learned the beat. Now, debt. Most people hear that word and picture shackles, bills stacking up, sleepless nights, a life of servitude. They've only met bad debt, the kind that comes from swiping plastic for TVs, vacations, or status symbols they don't need. Bad debt is a parasite, it drains you dry. But good debt is a rocket booster. It's money you borrow to buy assets, things that grow, things that pay you back, things that laugh in the face of inflation. Bitcoin's an asset, and right now, it's ripe for the picking. Here's the play. Secure a loan, a low-interest line of credit, something you can manage and use it to pile up that digital gold. Leverage isn't a dirty word, it's your superpower. The middle class brags about paying off their house early, polishing their debt-free badge, while inflation gnaws their savings to dust. The wealthy, they borrow to build empires. They own assets, not bragging rights. Which camp are you in? The herd's too spooked to borrow for growth. They cling to safety like it's a virtue. You're cut from a different cloth. Let's break down that debt play with real numbers to make it stick. Say you've got a decent job, pulling in $60,000 a year. Nothing flashy, just solid. You qualify for a $20,000 personal loan at 6% interest over 5 years. That's $400 a month. Manageable, if you're not drowning in lattes and car payments. Bitcoin's jittery at $50,000 a coin. You deploy the full $20,000, 0.4 BTC is yours. The market's a roller coaster. It dips to $35,000 next month. Oh, the horror, but you don't flinch. You're not a tourist, you're a settler. 2 years later it's $90,000. Your 0.4 BTC is now $36,000. Pay off the loan, $24,000 with interest, and you're still $12,000 ahead. That's not luck, that's leverage. Meanwhile, your neighbor who doesn't trust crypto is still stashing $200 a month in a savings account at 0.5%, earning $12 a year after inflation kicks his teeth in. Good debt builds, bad debt buries. Savings are a fairy tale, a relic of a bygone era. I'll hammer this home, savings are a myth. The old script says grind at your job, sock away your cash, let it sit in a bank at 1% interest if the stars align. That's a slow death sentence. Inflation's a thief, 3%, 5%, sometimes 8%. Pick your poison, and it's robbing your money blind while you sleep. Why hoard a shrinking stack? Cash isn't your master, it's your mule, a tool to wield, not a shrine to worship. Assets are the real kings. Real estate, Stocks, Bitcoin. These are the warriors that battle inflation and win. Bitcoin's more than an asset, it's a shield. The dollar's a house of cards, propped up by blind trust in a government swimming in red ink. Bitcoin's built on math, on code, on a foundation no one can fudge. Stop saving for tomorrow, start owning it. Let's paint that picture sharper. Inflation's running at 4%, conservative for 2025, given how governments love their printing presses. You've got $10,000 in a savings account at 1%. After a year it's $10,100 before inflation. Factor in that 4%, and your real buying power's down to $9,700. You're bleeding $300 a year to do nothing. Now flip it, same $10,000 in Bitcoin, at $50,000 a coin, gets you 0.2 BTC. If it climbs to $70,000 in a year, a modest hop by its standards, that's $14,000. Even if it stalls at $55,000, you're at $11,000, still beating inflation's jaws. Cash rots, assets fight. The herd's too busy clutching their piggy banks to notice the war's already on. The crypto market today is a battlefield, prices zigzagging, headlines shrieking bubble and doomsday, pundits on screens wagging their fingers, tune them out. Following them is a ticket to the poorhouse. The herd chases the noise, they sell in terror, buy in euphoria, and wonder why they're always broke. You're not a follower, you're a hunter. Bitcoin's been buried, and eulogized more times than you can count. 2011, 2013, 2017, take your pick. Each funeral was a false alarm, each crash a springboard to higher. Trace the arc, $1 to $100, $100 to $1,000, $1,000 to $20,000. Every valley was a bargain, every summit a payoff. Today's chaos is just Act 3 in the same play. Do you see the script, or are you stuck reading the headlines? Rewind to 2017 for a lesson. Bitcoin hit $19,000, then cratered to $3,200 in 2018. The herd wailed, "It's over," and dumped their coins. The hunters, they loaded up at $3,500, $4,000, $5,000. By 2021 it was $69,000. That $4,000 buy became $20,000 plus. The pattern's loud, if you listen. Dips are loud, recoveries are louder. Today's $40,000 could be tomorrow's $100,000. The herd's too busy refreshing their news apps to spot the cycle. You're too busy stacking sats to care what they think. Let's get concrete. You've got two paths. Path 1. Sit tight, sip your latte, and pray your cubicle gig keeps the lights on while the world spins forward without you. Path 2. Move. Grab a loan, say $10,000 at 5%, interest over 5 years. That's $200 a month, a bill most can swing. Deploy it into Bitcoin, now, while the market's jittery. At $50,000 a coin, you snag 0.2 BTC, hold it. Sure, it might dip to $40,000 by next week, but zoom out, 5 years, 10 years. History's a guide. Bitcoin's roared to $60,000, $70,000, even higher after every stumble. If it hits $100,000, your 0.2 BTC is $20,000. Settle the loan, keep the profit. That's good debt doing its job. The herd's too busy financing their jet skis to spot the horizon. You're scanning the ocean for treasure. Scale that up for the bold. Got $50,000 in equity lying around. Home, stocks, whatever, refinance or pull a line of credit at 4%. That's $2,000 a year in interest, $167 a month. Drop it on Bitcoin, at $50,000, 1 BTC, clean and simple. If it doubles to $100,000 in 3 years, not wild. Given past runs, you've got $100,000. Pay back the $56,000, principal plus interest. Pocket $44,000. If it triples to $150,000, that's $94,000, profit. The herd's too scared of what if it drops to see what if it flies. You're not blind to risk, you're built to ride it. Risk is the elephant in the room. No sugarcoating it. Bitcoin's not a sure thing. It could tank and stay down. Governments could clamp down with regulations. China's tried. Others might follow. Tech could glitch. Hacks, bugs, quantum threats down the road. But the deadliest risk isn't out there, it's inside you. Inaction is the silent assassin. The herd's glued to their couches, paralyzed by hypotheticals, missing the possibilities staring them down. You're not here to coast, you're here to conquer. Arm yourself with knowledge, master the exchanges, Coinbase, Binance, Kraken, pick your poison, secure your wallets. Hardware like Ledger or Trezor beats a hot wallet any day. Track the trends. Google Trends, Glassnode, X-Chatter. Ignorance breeds fear. Understanding breeds power. The market doesn't reward your feelings, it pays for your actions. Act with intent. Wield debt like a scalpel. Bend chaos to your will. Consider the flip side. Worst case scenarios aren't just doom porn, they're your stress test. Bitcoin drops to $20,000 and stalls. Your $50,000 loan for 1 BTC is underwater. $20,000 in value, $56,000 owed over time. You're out $36,000 if you sell. But here's the kicker, you don't sell, you hold. Bitcoin's not a stock with a CEO who can bankrupt it. It's a protocol, a network, a beast that survived a decade of punches. Every crash has a rebound. $3,200 to $69,000, $13,000 to $64,000. The herd panics and bails. You grit your teeth and wait. Risk isn't loss, it's patience tested. Think decades, not days. Bitcoin's not a lottery ticket for next weekend. It's a stake in the future. The old system banks, fiat, central overlords, is rusting out. Look at the numbers. US debt's $34 trillion and climbing. The Fed's balance sheet's a bloated $7 trillion, and they're still printing like it's monopoly money. Bitcoin's the wedge, splitting it open. It's not just currency, it's control. Control to ditch a rigged game, to hold wealth no one can dilute or confiscate. But control isn't gifted, you seize it. Don't wait for calm waters or expert blessings. Strike now while the herd's dazed, while the door's ajar. The masses will wake up late, as always. When Bitcoin's scaling new heights, $200,000, $500,000, name your number. They'll moan, I should have jumped in 2025. They'll point fingers at fate, their spouse, the weather. Too bad. You're not wired for regret. You see chaos as a ladder, climb it. Picture 2035. Bitcoin's at $250,000, not a fantasy, just 15% annual growth from $50,000, slower than its last decade. You're 1 BTC from that $50,000 loan. It's $250,000. Your total loan cost was $56,000. That's $194,000 in profit, and you didn't lift a finger past the initial move. The herd's still bragging about their safe 401ks, averaging 6%, turning $50,000 into $80,000 over the same stretch. Cute but crushed. You didn't just beat inflation, you lapped it. Chaos was your forge. Bitcoin was your hammer. Step back and survey the wreckage. The financial system's a powder keg. Trillions in debt, currencies fading, governments cranking the money printer like it's a toy. Bitcoin's the antidote. Not flawless, not fancy, but raw and real. It's yours if you grab it. The herd's obsessed with stability, a mirage that keeps them small. Chaos is the reality, and in chaos, the fearless feast. Stack those coins, buy the dips, use good debt to stretch your reach, lock them in cold storage away from thieves and headlines. Tune out the static, the skeptics, the naysayers, the gloom merchants. They're noise, not truth. Drill into the why of Bitcoin for a second. It's not just scarcity. 21 million coins is the cap, with 19 million already mined by 2025. It's not just decentralization. No Fed, no ECB, no suits pulling levers. It's defiance. Fiat's a promise from people who break promises. $1 in 1971 buys 15 cents today. Thanks to inflation's slow bleed, Bitcoin's a promise from code, immutable, transparent, borderless. The herd trusts politicians who've defaulted on gold standards and cookbooks. You trust math that doesn't lie. That's your edge. Here's your wake-up call. This is your window. Crypto chaos isn't a curse, it's a crucible. Ride the Bitcoin boom or bust. The herd stampeding one way, panicked and penniless. You're heading the other, cool and collected. Good debt's your engine, assets your North Star, volatility, your wind. The market's quaking, the world's gawking, and you're advancing. This isn't chance, it's choice. Bitcoin's digital gold, and the veins exposed. Swing your axe. The future's loud, jagged, and loaded. Step up, one last gut check. Look around. Your friends are binging Netflix. Your boss is griping about gas prices. Your parents are still mailing checks to the bank. The world's sleepwalking through a revolution. Bitcoin's not a headline, it's a heartbeat, pulsing through a network that spans continents, miners, coders, rebels. The herd's waiting for permission. CNBC's green light, a government stamp, a safe signal. You don't need it. Chaos is your signal. The veins open, the pickaxe is in your hand. Dig.